Hi, it's What's the Tea with Nicolala again. Ting, 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 ting. So, let's see. So this is the face-to-face edition, and the topic of today is compassion. And I've spoken about compassion before, but of course, these words that I have and these particular virtues that I talk about and express, and actually in my own experience, I'm living them too, just like you. I'm on the planet. I'm on a planet, whether it's in another dimension or another realm than you are, however it goes, there's still certain things that we're all growing and expanding with, no matter what expression that we're in. So, and layer of evolving, I'll say. So, anyway, compassion came up, and I'm just going to share a story of the reason why it came up. I went out to dinner with some friends, and then we hung out a little bit, and I had one of my friends' children, and well, actually, what happened is the one of their children ended up touching something, and so it scared him, and he was very emotional and very like it scared him really bad. And so I ended up going over to him, picking him up and holding him in my arms. And the lady who was watching the store, you know, actually he touched like a radio or something, like an old time radio, and it just turned on and like was really, really loud, and it scared him. And so the person who was watching the store was like, "What did you do? What did you do?" And she didn't seem mean or angry about it. It's like, but part of this story, and why I'm talking about it, it's like actually coming up to me now, like going, like, why would you ask a 2-year-old child, what did you do? It's like, I mean, not to say that he wouldn't know because he's a very smart child. However, really? Okay. Anyway, I'm just speaking my truth right now. So, the other thing about it was, this baby, I could feel he was just very emotional, and so I had such compassion for how he was feeling, because I could feel he was very distraught and upset. And I know this child myself personally, and he's a very calm, sweet child. But children, they touch things. So what you gonna do? They touch things. They're children. Yeah, they're curious. They're curious about their environment. If you take them somewhere, I'm not saying this child is not a bad child, but anyway, I'm going to move on to the story. So anyway, so I pick up the child. I'm holding the child. I can feel the child's energy field of what is happening with him. He is upset, and I can feel that, and I feel so much compassion for him in that moment. And one of the things that this lady said as time rolled on, as it continued in that moment, she, after he's continually crying because he's not stopping, because he's genuinely upset. Like, he really is upset, and I can feel it. So I know, I mean, come on now. It's everybody's where they are. There's no judgment there. But something that she said kind of, and I wasn't in a compassionate state or not in compassionate state. I was not in a focused state on her at all. I was more focused on the child. And one of the statements that she said was, "Okay, now you're faking." And it's like, really? Okay. So I'm like thinking, who says that? Who says that? Well, it's a person who is not acting in a compassion, or what I consider compassion. At first she seemed compassionate, and then her true thought process after he started continuing to cry, it's like he he's crying, and there's no time frame for that child to stop or start. This is his experience. He's having this moment, and I'm allowing him to process through it. But now you got to talk and say stuff that is, to me, you're out of order. But that's okay. So when she said that, I said, I couldn't even look at her. I was like, I looked straight ahead because I know myself. So I said, No, he's not. Like he's yeah, and I'm not going to go into explanation why how I know that this child is not faking it. I felt some form, I don't even want to call it irritation because I really didn't feel irritated by her statement. I just thought, wow, this lady is, that was a very ignorant thing to say, but that's where she's at. And that is, so I guess that maybe I was acting compassionate. I didn't feel compassionate towards her to say something or not to say something. I mean, that's, I find that kind of interesting because I'm investigating this word compassion, and because all of these particular virtues that I'm working with, I am evolving as well with them. So it's kind of like we're doing this together, because as I expand in my own understanding of life and living, I'm expanding and evolving for me, as you can do for you. And that's why I offer this insight and information and storyline, because it is so important. If you're choosing to make a change in your life and you want to utilize some of the virtues and meanings of these words and actually go deeper inside of yourself to grab a hold and grasp them and utilize them for your life and see how they actually transform and change you. And then there's more to it. It's not just a word. They're not just words. We hear them, but do we internalize them? Do we use them? Do we do we apply them to our own life? These words are wisdom if you apply them. So you have to apply the knowledge that is being given. And if you don't apply it, then it's still there available for you to use if you choose to use it. But it's upon you. So you have to make that decision. Because even though you might not physically always know that you are being in a compassionate state, there are certain situations where you can tap into that compassionate state or that compassionate behavior, and you're just naturally doing it. I mean, everybody, it's so interesting. Sometimes we can focus more on the things that don't make us happy, or the people who make us feel annoyed or irritated. We focus more on those things, but do we ever talk about the things that we the loving things that we interact with, and the loving experiences that we have with people that have been in our lives, and they were compassionate, or they were loving, or that person didn't judge you? Do you ever sit with yourself and contemplate on your experience of the day? Now, I can honestly say I haven't gotten to this particular practice, but I think it's a very important. I haven't gotten to this particular practice on a normal basis, but I do contemplate my experiences. That's why I'm talking about this one, because it allows me to go inside myself and expand and teach myself, not teach myself from the outside or somebody telling me, well, you should do this or you should do that, but take that internal look at your own self, be your own observer, and watch your experience and be aware of what is happening in your life so you can utilize it for yourself, so you can be more of your greatest self. And so that's one of the reasons why I share some of these stories and experiences, because like I said, I'm evolving just like all of us are. If you're choosing to, you can be an active evolver or you can be on the sidelines, but either way, like I've said in the past, you're going to go through your experience and you're going to expand any way, shape, or form. It's inevitable. I mean, I don't care what stage you're at. It's going to happen, because in order for you to, as far as I know, in order for you to expand beyond this physical realm of being, you will evolve. It is just inevitable, because that's part of our makeup. If you have a soul, you're going to evolve. Now, you can be pushed there or pulled there, whatever. It's inevitable. But it's your choice of when you get there, because you have free will. So anyway, that's a whole nother story. So we're I'm just gonna touch on some things. So I'm going to, of course, give you the definition of compassion. And it was interesting because when I looked up the word compassion in the etymology dictionary, I was like, the way they worded it was kind of weird, even though I do understand it. But the way they worded it is kind of like, what? Okay, well, I get it, but I'm going to give you two separate different definitions. So I'm going to give you the etymology dictionary definition, and then I'm going to give you the definition that I found on another dictionary as well. So this one is coming from the online in etymology dictionary, and of course I will put this link up again for the word so you have it as a reference. Says compassion. It's a noun. Feeling of sorrow or pity excited by the sufferings or misfortunes of another. Now, that's what I was saying. I was like, what? Feeling of sorrow or pity excited by the sufferings or misfortunes of another. So I'm going to continue on. It says mid 14th century compassion, literally a suffering with another. Okay. You're suffering with another, and I'm not going to go into the more details. You can read those when you take a look at that expression. I just wanted to give you a portion of that definition. And then this one says, and this one is coming out of, I don't, it's just giving the definition. Doesn't exactly say. It's coming from it's coming from the American Heritage Dictionary. And this one states it's a noun, that compassion is a noun, and it says deep awareness of the suffering of another accompanied by the wish to relieve it, to compassionate, pity, commiserate. Literally, and then it kind of says the same somewhat the same definition as the one I read before. Literally, a suffering with another, hence a feeling of sorrow or pity excited by the sufferings or misfortunes of another. Sympathy, commiseration, pity. So I personally don't relate to the pity part because and I need to share this because even though it has a definition of pity, I don't care for the word pity because of the fact that having pity for someone is not assisting them in making and assisting them in making them the strong, confident person, and letting that other person know that you are strong enough to be able to, for me not to feel pity for you. I don't want to feel pity for you. Why would I want to feel pity for someone? That does not speak to their to me, their godlike prime source creator self. They have the capacity for me not to feel pity for them. So I had to share that because, like I said, I don't care for the word pity because I don't choose to feel pity for anybody. Everybody has the capacity, because the minute you start feeling pity for someone, then you're victimizing them. I feel bad for myself. Oh, excuse me. I so feel bad. I gotta get some water. I feel bad. Uh, you're not a victim. No one is. However, we have put that in our communities, in our societies, that we are victims, and that's a whole nother subject, and I'm not going to go into it, but that's just my thought process, and I'm going to move on. Anyway, oh, excuse me. So, yeah, I share that story. So I had an experience today. It was so interesting. So the experience that I had today is I was driving to the store and I'm making a left-hand turn, and this guy is actually pulling out to the this pulling out into the street that's parallel to me, and actually he's pulling out to come the same distance, and we almost hit. And the first thing that came to me, I was not angry. I did not feel an angry, and this has happened before. Not that same scenario, but someone's almost hit me before, but it never happens because that's not what I'm choosing to experience in my life. And yeah, I'm not in the vibration and frequency of that occurring. Even though it can seem like something might happen, I can't, I just know that I'm safe. I'm safe, secure, and well taken care of. So anyway, let me continue on. So basically that happened. And like I said, I didn't, but I did say, what did I say? Oh, I called her bonehead. I was like, oh, you bonehead, but I wasn't angry. That's the thing. I'm like, I did not feel any anger within inside of me. I was like, you bonehead. Like, you weren't paying attention. Like, I'm sitting here. Like, I'm sitting here. You're like, you're turning into the opposite lane. It's like, okay, what I immediately said after we did not even touch, it was like spirit was taking care of both of us. And I say that because I feel that spirit takes care of all of us if you choose to put your hands and trusting. It's like spirit takes care of me. And that's my mantra. Spirit takes care of me because it's true. I know it is. I lived that way for a while. Well, anyway, so, so we don't touch, but it seems like it's so close. And one of the things I say is, I'm so glad I'm okay. I'm so glad he's okay. I'm so glad that nothing happened. I'm so grateful. And I left it at that. And like I said, and I also said is, I'm so glad that he's safe. And I'm so glad that I'm safe. And I think I said, I'm so glad I'm safe first. And then I said, I'm so glad that he's safe. And I left it at that. And I continued on with my day. I did not have any anger. Now, I wouldn't consider that well, I guess I consider me making a statement because pretty much that compassion, of course, would be considered like I had love for myself and I had love for him, but it felt like it was so natural. So that's where I'm like, well, would I consider that compassion? I don't know. Like, I didn't, yeah, uh, even though I said what I said, but, and like I said, I didn't have any anger. I wasn't sending any negative energy towards that person. I did not send any, and I didn't feel led to do any of that. So I want to share something with you also about this. There are 42 laws of Mayat. And one of the statements is, I will not set my mouth in motion against any person. And you can say those things before, and then later on in the day, after your day ends, you can say, I have not done those. And so I can honestly and purposefully and gracefully really say, I did not set my mouth in motion against another person. And there's a few more laws that are inconsistency with my day, that I can say that, yeah, it was just like, but I'm just going to use this one. It was like, yay. And it was natural. But like I said, I've experienced that before and I've had the same reaction. So I guess I'm practicing it. So that's the other thing, the practice of compassion. Like, how do you practice compassion? And then before you begin to even practice compassion, where does it kind of stem from within you, how you can even utilize it? Because you can use something and then not know, like, oh, wait a minute, I'm doing it, but what does it mean that I'm doing? So let's go a little bit deeper about, compassion. And so some information I found, and actually I think I've posted this lady's information before, and I like, so it comes from, so the most important thing that I got from this is that it's the heart chakra. That's where it stems. That's where the ability to have compassion for someone and yourself. Because I feel that the compassion comes for you first. You have to have compassion for yourself. How can you not have compassion for yourself and not have compassion for someone else? Like you have the ability to be able to have compassion for someone else if you have compassion for yourself, especially first. So that means you have to have a self-love for yourself. That means you have to be forgiving to yourself. Are you forgiving to yourself? Have you been forgiving to yourself? Have you? When you do something, do you say negative things to yourself in your head? Oh, you screwed up. You keep messing up. You know, whose voice is that? Is it someone else's voice? Is it? Is it your voice that's saying, "You dummy, why did you do that? You messed up." When you do something, and also, even if you do something, if you made a mistake about something and you're in, I'll say, the wrong about that particular thing, and you go and apologize to that person or apologize to the experience or whatever, don't continue to beat yourself up about it. Let it go. And that's another part of it. Being compassionate and loving towards yourself, you have to forgive yourself. You have to let go of what occurred, and you can learn from it so it doesn't happen again. It doesn't have to happen again. You just say sorry and you move on. But you also mean it. Mean that you're sorry about what occurred so it doesn't keep happening. So you learn from it and you grow. That's what I mean by you're expanding. You're growing. That means you're loving more of yourself. This compassion thing is expansive. It's just so expansive. So the heart chakra is where your compassion stems from. Did you know that? The anahata is what they call it in the Sanskrit. And I'm going to read a little bit about the statement about compassion, and then and it's about the heart. So that means you can tune into your heart, your beautiful prime source creator given heart. You've got one of those. Boom, 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 boom. Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. Anyway, so you have a beautiful beating heart, and your heart has the ability to love experienced through the fourth chakra. You have that capability. And I'm just reading this part, so flow with me. Love experienced through the fourth chakra is not just about romance, but about going beyond the limitations of the ego. That's what I did today. I went beyond the limitation of my ego. And I did not have anger in my heart whatsoever for this person. And it's a personal preoccupation to open up more fully to compassion and acceptance of all that is as it is. When we live from our heart and our heart energy is opened and balanced, we can see clearly and position ourselves in any situation, no matter how challenging it is, with discernment and compassion. So, from what I get from this statement is that you have the power. You have the superhuman strength. So all these superhuman, these superhero movies that we always watch, right? Because I like me some superhero movies. I wouldn't say I'm addicted to them, but I like them because it's like I feel that that is something that's part of us. I also feel that this is actually the ability to, because think about it. We live our lives with all different kinds of people, here, there, everywhere. You go to the store, you are going to work, you're interacting with people, your relationships that you have with your mother, father, sister, brother, uncle, aunt, cousin. We're in relationships. And because we're in relationships, we interact with people, or we don't if we're antisocial. Interesting. But even at the same time, you might be so-called antisocial. Your favorite person is you, and you could possibly be your worst enemy or your best goddamn friend. And I said that so you could be your own best friend. Anyway, so you having that ability is superhuman, because you can easily get angry at someone, right? Someone's done something to you. I'm so angry. I'm so pissed off. Oh my God. Did you see what he did? You've been triggered. Mm, Guns up. Bang, 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 bang. And you're shooting all over the place, right? I'm freaking angry. It's okay to be angry. There's nothing wrong with it. But do you let it go? Can you have compassion for yourself for the experience? Believe me, I've been angry about certain things in my own personal life, and it's like, okay, you have to do some self-reflection. And there is a process to that trigger, and I'm not going to talk about that today, but I am going to just focus on compassion, because that compassion is a stem to the strength and superpower that you have within yourself to operate through, because your ego had, if you can have that, you can have another person. So think of it. You've got two roads. Do you use the road of compassion, or do you use the road of ego? Okay, so stop there. Even if you use the road of ego, you can always go back. You can always go back. I repeat, you can always go back and correct it. And what I mean by that is you can always go back and go within yourself and say, wait a minute, let me take a back. Let me process through that. And say, let me look at this from another point of view, another perspective, because you can feel when you're out, because it doesn't feel good. You can feel when you're not in that non-compassionate space. You can feel it when you've made a mistake and you're like, but see, that ego will be like, I'm not apologizing. I'm not doing it. Okay, that's your choice. Nothing wrong with that. Of course not. But is it still bothering you? And if it's still bothering you, or you're still thinking about it, then maybe you need to investigate it further and take another look within. So I'm going to read a part of what she says as, now, like I've said before, some people call them blocks. I don't consider them blocks, because when a person, so say, I'm going to give an example. If a person has a baby in their arms, because everybody has the ability to feel that love, or a baby or someone they're in love with. I'm going to use those two expressions. It's like, you can have compassion for someone. It's like, that loved one that, she did me wrong, but that person that you're very in love with, that it's not like, you can't forgive them. You can easily forgive them. You don't have a problem forgiving them. So that is a place of compassion. It's not that they cannot do anything wrong. It's like you just love them enough that it's okay. We can get through this. It's not a problem. Or when you hold a child in your arms, so you have the ability to operate utilizing your anahata, which is a Sanskrit word for heart. You have that power. You have that superhuman strength to use the power that you willed from your heart. And it's in the center of your chest. It is the fourth chakra in your body, and it's green. And it actually also has the expression in the higher essence of it as pink. So I'm going to put the link at the bottom of my show so you can go and investigate that information as well, as far as the chakras are concerned. So you can investigate yourself, learn about more of who you are. So I'm going to read some things about what she says as signs your chakra, your fourth chakra, may be out of balance. The heart chakra can become imbalanced as a result of life experiences that have a strong emotional charge, physical ailments, or significant changes in your environment. It may manifest as, um, we'll call it restrictions. She says blockages. I'm going to say restrictions because I can't say it is being full. It's not fully blocked. You can't possibly have a block, because those two scenarios that I gave you, as if you're in a relationship and you have ability to have compassion, your heart chakra is working. You just need a little bit of help with it. That's all. In the energy flow, or on the contrary, a tendency to become overactive or have excess of energy. So I'm going to read some of the things that she says. You can see the following signs of imbalance in the heart chakra: being overly defensive, feeling closed down, jealousy, fear of intimacy, codependency, relying on others' approval and attention, trying to please at all costs, always putting oneself in the role of the savior or the rescuer, or on the contrary, falling into victimization, excessive isolation, being recluse, antisocial, holding grudges, not being able to forgive. And then there's physical body expressions that it's possible that your heart chakra could be not working at its fullest capacity. Respiratory ailments such as lung infections, bronchitis, circulatory and heart-related issues. So those are some of the expressions of, or descriptions, should I say, of what can possibly happen if your heart chakra is not working as your full. It's not in the fullest potential of how you're able to operate. Well, you can tap into your superhuman strength in your heart chakra anytime you like. So, and there's people out there that can help you. So I actually, I am a part of a heart chakra meditation once a month. And it is a wonderful and amazing experience. If you ever want to experience tapping into, um, getting work on your heart chakra, and it is a meditation. If you are interested, please email me, because just go at the end of my show. If you wait for the end, you'll see my email address and my website also. But if you go to my email address, you'll be able to email me and send me your email, and then I can send you the connection, or have the person, because what they'll do is they'll send you the email link and how to get on this heart chakra meditation. That's once a month. And we go from there. It is an amazing, wonderful experience. And yeah, I enjoy it every month. I'm so grateful for it. Very, very, very grateful for it. So, but like I said, yeah, it is, yeah. It's one of my friends who does the heart meditation, and yeah, I'm so grateful for the opportunity and the experience that I have. It's deep stuff, man. It's deep stuff, and I'm not going to go into the stuff that is experienced right at this time, but I want to share with you that it is a wonderful, wonderful experience. I mean, yeah, wonderful. Anyway, so thank you so much for listening in, and I think let me make sure that I got everything that I wanted to share, because I don't want to leave without. I don't want to miss anything, because, well, of course, I can't miss anything. But anyway, yeah. Oh, did want to share. There's some aromatherapy scents that actually assist in the heart chakra, and also, of course, when you go to this young lady's website, her name is Lizzie. Um, you'll see her information on there that just shares, like, there's pink quartz, lang lang, rose geranium, and then that's for aromatherapy that you can use for your heart chakra, and then rose quartz. I remember one time that I was sleeping with my rose quartz, my pink rose quartz. Every single night I felt like I needed to sleep with it. And I kept it near me all night long. And I kept it with me until I decided that I was finished having it close to me. I would sleep with it. And yeah, it was doing its healing work with me. So anyway, got love for you, got love for me, of course. Me first, me first, me first, because you got to love yourself first, be able to love someone else, right? Because you can't love anybody else unless you love you. So be compassionate to yourself first. You got it, that superhuman power, and you can even make it greater. Superhuman strength. Ho, 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 ho. Anyway, so be more loving, be more kind, be more passionate, be more compassionate, be more inspirational for yourself, with yourself, and everybody else. Because the more you tap into your superhuman strength, the more you are flying high and in a more blissful space, and your life is changing and transforming because you have the power. You have everything that you need. You can do anything. And I'm sending lots of Prime Source Creator love to you. Okay, so be well, be love, be joy, and leaving out with mixing it up with what's the tea with Nicolela face to face up in your face once more. Take care, everybody. Love, love. Bye.